What's happening? Just bring me on. Yeah, bring me on. What are we doing here? Why are we messing around? We had a countdown issue. It didn't quite work, but it's Wrestling Uncensored. Sometimes things don't go exactly the way they're supposed to, but we're on nevertheless. Get ready for some wrestling talk. I don't have my intro prepared because I didn't get my countdown. Johnny's here. He'll help me. I hope Johnny's here. I hope he didn't leave because he thought he had 5 minutes. Johnny, oh, there he is. Hey, man, what happened? We had a little botch. The show started botchamania style, but that's okay. We're here nevertheless, right? We're here. We're good. We're talking professional wrestling. We got a lot of wrestling to cover. I remember now. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa announcing tonight that they will be facing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia. First time Sami Zayn going to Saudi Arabia with the WWE for Night of Champions for those WWE Tag Team titles. The Tribal Chief going up to do what the Usos could not, and that's take away the Tag Team titles from Kevin and Sami. We will also see Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes one more time, despite the fact that Cody beat Brock. They're going to wrestle again at Night of Champions, and of course, we will crown a new champion, and it will either be Seth Rollins or AJ Styles, as AJ Styles moments ago defeating Bobby Lashley in the main event of SmackDown to punch his ticket to Night of Champions to crown a new World Heavyweight Champion. That new belt that they're showing off, they're finally going to give it to somebody, and that's in a few weeks' time at the next WWE Premium Live event, Night of Champions. Johnny North, you've been a wrestling champion many times all over the place. I know you have a big match coming up, I believe. Is it this Sunday? When are you beating up Paulson?
That's going to happen this Sunday. And last Sunday, I was in Loot Academy.
Oh, yeah.
And had a fantastic match. Loved the partner I teamed up with, Magnum and Big Daddy Diamond. I was with, like, an amazing match, and got to give it a lot of credit to I believe it was Matt Wheeler and Chad Daniels. Sometimes it's Matt Maverick, I believe. I believe that was Matt Wheeler. But we had apparently the best match at Loot Academy last Sunday. So that was a special moment. And although I'm gone, though, I don't know if you can still hear me or not.
Yeah, I don't know why I lost you there, but you're back. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah. No, can you hear me?
You're back. Yeah. Sorry.
You're back. I'm back.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, we got a glitchy night tonight, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, had Loot Academy last Sunday, and just a tremendous match. One of my favorite matches I think I've ever been in. Like, it was just a fantastic atmosphere, fantastic opponents, fantastic partner, amazing experience. Like I have to thank like Jacques Rougeau for putting me in there, giving me the opportunity to getting that like AEW. It's pretty much like a gut check almost. Remember what TNA used to do? It was
Hmm.
pretty much like that. And then you have the judges afterwards. They give their thoughts. QT Marshall gave his thoughts. So, it was just, it meant a lot for them to say like it was a really hard decision that they didn't pick us. They picked the other tag team, but it meant a lot that they loved the match and that they appreciated the work that we put in there. And I can't say enough about what we did last Sunday. I thought, again, one of my favorite moments, I think, in wrestling, doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. I'm happy for you. Sounds like it was
Thank
a
you.
great match, a great time. QT Marshall saw your match? He was watching?
Yeah, he was watching, yeah.
That's cool.
They had him on the monitor afterwards, and he gave the decision. Like, yeah, and what was crazy about it, I mean, it's just there's so many things that happened in that match and things around the match. But one of the things was that we got a lot of heat. We were the heels going into the match, me and Magnum, and he had so many people mad at him. They had all these signs like, "Oh, you suck, Magnum sucks," and when the match was over, apparently, is there audio problems?
No,
There's
no,
no audio
everything's
problems.
good. He's
Oh,
saying no audio problems. So you're good. Go ahead.
oh, good, excellent. So, yeah, they had papers, and at the end of the match, they're throwing papers in the ring, and they had to tell the audience to stop throwing papers because they were just throwing them like it felt like remember like when the NWO was
Yeah.
always in those kind of matches at the end of Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt like that. What was going on? They had to tell the audience to stop so
Wow.
QT could give the announcement. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was an interesting moment, and our manager, Big Daddy Diamond, too. I don't know how much of this I can say, but he got threatened by one of the people in the audience that they had to kick out because apparently he's a part of some sort of gang. So
What?
yeah, it could have got really bad. Thankfully,
Wait,
it didn't.
I don't understand. Who got threatened? The manager
Our
got
manager,
threatened by a
yeah, our
gang
manager got
member?
threatened. Yeah.
What was the man serious? Was he
Well,
angry? What?
because
Oh boy, that's
we
dangerous.
came
Maybe
out.
we shouldn't talk about it. I don't want to get anybody hurt.
Well, I don't want to go into too many details about it, but yeah, like it felt like he got kicked out though. The guy got kicked out, so thankfully
Oh.
nothing bad happened. But yeah, it could have been pretty bad there. But we had some good heat. That just goes to show you, like we had the crowd really behind, like really against us, and like there was a lot of great energy, like in that match, start to finish. Like you could tell the crowd was really into it. So like again, like regardless that we didn't advance, like just to be in that moment, that experience, like I'll never forget it. Just an amazing, amazing time. And to be in Montreal too, like, I wrestle in Quebec mainly, but to wrestle in Montreal, it's actually kind of rare for me. So to have that moment in Montreal, like that really, really meant a lot.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it. That sounds great. Sounds like a great match, great time. Congratulations to you, John. I'm happy that you had such a great match. And I'm sure you're going to have another one this weekend, too. I mean, all your matches are pretty damn good.
Well, that's the plan. With Savage Paulson, it's a little bit different kind of thing because he's a little mad because I screwed him over in the last match he had. So he's kind of coming out for revenge and should have to prove him wrong on that one. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, it might be kind of violent, but I don't have a problem with that.
So there you go. Johnny North, he's a great wrestler. He's all over the place. He's having big matches. And big things are happening for Johnny. And it's always good to see here on Wrestling Uncensored on the Ringside Report Network. Big Johnny North, he's the backbone of the whole operation. John, WWE-wise, what did you think this week? You like the TV shows that they gave us?
I like SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was quite enjoyable. Raw was tough, but I think Raw felt like it was a bit like they were tired from the the premium live event from Backlash, and I felt like they have this idea going forward, but the energy just wasn't there. I don't know if it's so much the crowd. I mean, the crowd wasn't obviously as great as it was in Puerto Rico, but still, like even the matches, it didn't feel like it had that same magic that we saw tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what you thought, but wow, that Rey Mysterio, Edge, AJ Styles, not going to say it was the picture perfect match. I mean, there was some flubs here and there, but there was still a lot of good they did in that match, more good than bad. And to me, that's like a match you have to watch.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those rare things you'll never get to see ever again, probably.
Yeah. When they announced it on Raw, I was like, what? Edge, Rey, and AJ Styles in a match just on TV? It's kind of crazy. And it was excellent. It was the match of the night. Best match WWE gave us all week, I think, on their TV shows. Before we get to their TV, though, I should ask you about Backlash. We didn't get to talk about it. We did a post-show a little bit during the UFC for Backlash. I actually, I think I said last week that I was going to prefer the UFC pay-per-view over Backlash. I was wrong.
You did.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I preferred Backlash over the UFC pay-per-view. The UFC pay-per-view was kind of flat. Not a lot of finishes, a lot of decisions, and not a ton of action.
You didn't like the main event, too.
The main event was just, Brock Lesnar looked more beat up after his match than the two guys fighting MMA for 25 minutes. So it wasn't my favorite fight. But I like Backlash a lot. I thought Backlash was a pretty solid event that exceeded expectations, mostly because Cody and Brock exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I liked that match a lot. I thought it was match of the night. I gave the show about a 7.5 on 10, I think. Maybe a 7, in that range. What did you think? Overall, match of the night?
Like, I thought it was a good show. I didn't think it was a great show because, there was a lot of good, but then there was some things where I was like, this isn't really that good, to be honest. Like, I was very disappointed in that 6-man tag where I thought this could steal the show, and it was probably the downer of the night.
Yeah.
And given the talent in that ring, that's extremely disappointing. I don't know what really happened. Like, I don't know if it's because of the position it was in the card or something, or just they didn't have any ideas, but it felt like they just had maybe too many ideas at some points in the match, or just dragged. I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. It didn't work.
Did not work.
But
I liked Bianca and Io. I thought had a really good match. The crowd was really into Zelina and Rhea. The crowd was really into the Bad Bunny Damian Priest, and I thought that they had their moments there in the match, of course, with all the guys coming back, like Savio Vega and Carlito. That was cool to see all that stuff in Puerto Rico and the crowd going bananas for all of that. Rey Mysterio got to come out and have his moment, too, during that match. Like, that was a fun experience. And then, again, Brock and Cody was like a kick-ass match of the year candidate. Just a tremendous wrestling match.
I don't know if I'd say that was match of the year candidate, though. I feel like there's been stronger.
I wouldn't say it's match of the year, but I think it's in the mix for WWE so far this year. We're, 5 months into 2023? How many matches have really been better than Cody and Brock at Backlash?
Well, I'd say Roman versus Cody.
Yeah, okay.
There's so much more drama with that match, I think.
It's in it's in the ballpark, you know what I mean? It's in the conversation, but I think if you're making a list of top 5, you might throw Cody and Brock from Backlash on there too.
Maybe.
It was good.
I didn't think it was the best match. I agree with you about Io and Bianca. I thought that was probably the best match, although I hated the finish. The finish I thought was terrible, but besides that, the match, pretty much everything up to the finish, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of the best, definitely one of the best women's matches, or maybe the best women's match I've seen. It's up there with Charlotte and Rhea. That says a lot.
Oh, I don't know if it was up there.
The reactions, like I don't know if the WrestleMania had the same kind of reactions there. Like there was a certain energy in that kind of match. And I give a lot of credit to Bianca to kind of go with that too, because I don't think she's used to doing that kind of stuff, to be a heel. I mean, she's been a heel before, but they're not pushing her like that, but she went with it. So I think she deserves a lot of credit for that, how that turned out. I just thought the finish took away a lot from that match, though. Have that stupid, like, Bailey coming in the ring thing, like, that really, to me, soured what I thought was a great match.
Yeah.
It's really too bad.
It was a disappointing finish. And you do remind me that I think Charlotte and Rhea was match of the year. In WWE, I think that's the best match that I've seen.
I mean, there's a lot of candidates here, but again, Brock and Cody, like, it was good, but I don't know about that kind of category,
Mm-hmm.
And again, I thought that was the best one. You said you like Zelina and
the crowd
Rhea.
was. I mean, the crowd.
There was a good moment for Zelina. In terms of a match, though, like, it was what it was. Like, I'm not saying this was one of the better matches. Like, there was no belief that Zelina was going to win this match, and the match just ended. There was no back and forth. There was no true struggle. Like, the biggest moment was when she threw it, like, that shoe at her, or the sandal. That was the biggest moment of the match. So, and that really shouldn't have been in the match to begin with, but they're just trying to pop the crowd. So,
yeah,
I get it. And I get it with the whole Bad Bunny, Damian Priest. I thought Damian Priest did a fantastic job making Bad Bunny look good. And yes, they have the clown car of people coming out, like I suspected they did. And, it was a good cast. I'll give them that. Like, Savio Vega, that's fantastic. Carlito, great. Rey Mysterio should have had a big time match on that Premium Live event. He was the hero besides Bad Bunny. So I think that was a huge mistake by WWE not to put Rey Mysterio on that show to wrestle. He's only going to be wrestling for so long. You could have him, and you don't have him wrestle. I think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But that's their choice.
On 10, what would you give it overall?
Oh, just the Seth and Omos match. Like, I thought that was okay. I mean, again, didn't have high expectations, but
it wasn't.
Didn't think it was that bad.
It wasn't much of anything, though.
Well, it wasn't awful, though. So there's that.
But it wasn't special in any way.
Seth said, I'm going to give you the match of your life. I don't think it was.
No.
But, he tried to give it the best he could for him. So, and it didn't, like, stink up the joint. So it wasn't the worst match on the show. Give him that. Like, I thought the 6-man was worse than that.
Yeah. Maybe. It was not what we were expecting. So you got a score?
I give it a 7, but it had the potential to be a high 8, close to a 9. Like, there's a lot of potential, but it lost a lot of points. And I don't know about you, like it's a good finish, but it's also not a good finish. The whole Cody Brock thing, and we'll lead into it with Raw, with how Cody's like, "Oh, I beat Brock Lesnar." You didn't beat Brock Lesnar. You survived Brock Lesnar. When you do a pin like that to win the match, like, that's not really beating Brock Lesnar, but
it's
whatever. It's going to continue.
It's the same way Liv Morgan beat Ronda Rousey.
Not as bad, but yeah.
But similar.
Didn't tap, at least. Yeah, similar, yeah.
Okay, he didn't. Right, Liv tapped as she pinned Ronda, but the ref only saw the pin. But this is a similar situation where Brock has Cody in a submission, and Cody is getting beat up and rolls Brock up and manages to kind of stack him in the Kimura and get the pin. It's not hitting 3 crossroads and pinning him in the middle of the ring 1, 2, 3, which you're not going to do to Brock. I don't know if you're going to do to Brock at all, because that would make Brock look not beastly, but you're definitely not going to do it to Brock if you're gearing up for a second match at Night of Champions, which we expected, right? That's why I called Brock winning, because I figured Brock wins is the only way to kind of set up Brock and Cody for a rematch, but you correctly predicted Cody winning, and he did pick up the win. But I think, it was a decent way for Brock to still look strong for the rematch, for Cody to win. Cody to get the win so people are happy, but Brock
Right.
to still look like the Beast and look like he could have beat Cody if he would have kept the shoulder up and just kind of, you could sweep with the Kimura Brock and mount him with it and finish that way too. I mean, there are ways to finish the Kimura that don't involve being flat on your back. I don't know if Brock is aware of that, but I would assume he is. Nevertheless, right? A lot of times you don't want to finish the Kimura from your back. I mean, if you do, you do. But most Kimuras you see finished are from the top. Cody cuts an in-ring promo on Raw, talked about the reception that he got in Jacksonville, how it was his pandemic home. He was there all the time, living in Jacksonville. Kind of a nod to AEW, of course. Didn't say AEW, but we knew what he was talking about. Not that building, though. He was in Daly's place for AEW. Cody talked about beating Brock Lesnar, beating the Beast, and says Brock is in the rear-view mirror and the World Heavyweight Championship is next for him. And then he introduced the match, and Seth Rollins came out. But it wasn't Cody's match. Yeah. He was just there to talk and then say, and here is the first match, like he's the host of the show for some reason. I don't know why he had to do that. Why did he introduce Seth Rollins? It was weird.
I guess just to have that stare down, I guess, to hype that up. But it was kind of misleading, and it did make you feel that we were going to get Cody versus Seth in the end off that, right? Because you had that confrontation. So we thought that could happen, and yeah, sure, it makes sense. But no,
we did not get that. We did not get that at all.
Well, I thought maybe you do the Brock thing during the Seth match, like that's how Seth beats Cody, just because of Brock. But nope, let's just do it ahead of time.
Yeah, they did it ahead of time. Cody hit 3 crossroads on The Miz and looked like he had Miz beat. It was Miz, Cody, and Finn Balor in their triple threat match, with the winner going to the end of Raw to face the winner of the other triple threat match, which wound up being Seth Rollins. Cody hit the 3 crossroads on Miz. Brock Lesnar then showed up, pulled Cody out of the ring, hit the F5 on him. And then Finn hit the coup de grace double stomp on Miz for the pin to get the win. So Finn advanced in the main event. It was Finn and Seth. And after the match, it was all about Brock and Cody. Brock put Cody through the announce table with an F5. And it looked like he tried to cut a promo, but the mic wasn't working. And then he just kept talking. Yeah. I don't know if the live crowd heard any of it. I think they eventually heard something that Brock was saying, but Brock had the mic, didn't seem to be working, but he didn't care. He kept talking, and he got mad that Cody was taking credit for what happened to Brock's face, because Brock's forehead had staples in it, and his eye was all busted up, so Brock seemed to take exception with that, yelling at Cody, and he was all monstery and angry, and he challenged Cody to a fight at Night of Champions. Not a wrestling match, a fight, which I guess it'll be some sort of no-holds-barred match, because their last match was technically just a match, right? So this will be some sort of no DQ thing. Yeah,
like no DQ, street fight, backyard wrestling match. It's the same thing. They're all the same kind of match.
Tables.
It used to be no holds barred. Like, it used to be this is the last fight kind of thing, unless it's a cage match, like no holds barred. And it lead up to big things that would happen. Now it's just like, well, let's just bring all the plunder right away.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's a second match in the feud, John. It's not like the first one. Or a no-holds-barred match for no reason on a random Raw, which happens as well. So, come on.
It happened on Dynamite, but Dynamite had a little bit of a reason if you watch Rampage.
Well, who does? It's hard to. It's not on tonight. Sometimes. Is it on tomorrow? It's on tomorrow, right? Yeah.
You watch it actually on Saturday. You were always talking about it on Twitter.
I have watched it on Saturdays. That's true. I always say, I'm not going to watch it. And then Saturday rolls around and I'm like, well, UFC's I think in the afternoon tomorrow. They're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I think it's an afternoon UFC for some reason. So by 10 o'clock at night, which I think is when Rampage is on, I might tune in. But honestly, I think I'm going to be playing this instead if I have free time. I think I'm just going to be doing this because this is more fun.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom,
Makes
new Zelda
sense.
game came out today. I think I'm just going to be playing Zelda.
Well, I think your son's going to be playing and you're going to be like helping him play it.
Not at 10 o'clock at night. At 10 o'clock at night, he's in bed, asleep, and I get to play. So that's fun. You know, it's my turn.
Oh, is there separate save files or?
I will just advance on the same game together. It'll be fine.
Oh, he doesn't mind. Okay.
No, he doesn't mind. He wants me to advance because there's certain things he can't do. He's 5, you know. He's not.
Yeah, but there's certain things you kind of don't want to advance, especially when it comes to the story. I'm sure he wants to see all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how far I can actually advance. I'm not that good either, but it's fun. I like it. It's a fun game. Just got it today. Just came out. New Zelda. John didn't get it yet. He's really mad.
No, I did not.
He's really mad.
Well,
John told me before the show
that
he canceled his Amazon Prime because they didn't bring him his Zelda today because he pre-ordered Zelda from Amazon and he thought he would get it today, but it's only coming on Tuesday. So John, in rage today, canceled his Amazon Prime because he said, what's the point if I can't get Zelda on release day? Which I told him you should just pre-order it in store, you know, at a GameStop or something like I did, and then just go pick it up the day of, and bada bing, bada boom, you're playing Tears of the Kingdom. And I got these sweet pins. I didn't just get the game. I got a pin set because I pre-ordered the game. It's an in-store pre-order bonus. Link and Zelda pins, Tears of the Kingdom. How about that? John's jealous. John is legit mad, too. I know you're mad. You don't cancel things for no reason. Christopsy says it's understandable. I agree. It is understandable. Shout out Christopsy. Shout out Lorne. Shout out Bob Burgers. Everybody watching in the chat on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. Join.ringsidereport.net. Support the Ringside Report Network. Donate.ringsidereport.net. Sorry, John. Go ahead. Your Zelda trials and tribulations. No Zelda for John. John is missing out on the Tears of the Kingdom. He's got to wait till Tuesday.
Well, actually, it's going to be longer. I got it for a friend, actually, Tears of the Kingdom. So I felt like really bad that I let my friend down, that I couldn't get him the game when it came out. So that's why I feel bad. And that's why I was more mad at Amazon. Wow. It's not for me. I'm going to get it eventually, but not right away.
Why can't your friend figure out how to get the game himself?
Well, you know, he's going through tough times. Needed help. I'm like, okay. It's you know, it's a $100 game, so.
Oh, I see. Well, that's nice of you. You're a generous man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got 2 copies today. I picked up 2 copies.
Well, I mean, I could always just download the game if I wanted to, right?
Yeah, you could download it right now. Yeah, you can start playing right now. In fact, are we done
here?
We're
a little busy.
Can I go?
I don't think we can, actually. We still have, like, most of Raw to go through. Pretty much all of SmackDown. And, you know, Dynamite happened. Dynamite was very interesting. I definitely think we should talk about that.
Ugh. I just want to play Zelda. I don't want to talk about wrestling. Can we just take the night off so I can play video games? That is how things should be. I've had a very busy day. Come on.
I've had a crazy week, but, you know, we got to keep going. Got to keep hustling here.
Did you see last night? I'm seeing Eagle 999 on the chat saying, talking about AJ last night. Hey, I was talking about how Tears of the Kingdom was coming out tomorrow, today and everything, and it was yesterday, so I was saying tomorrow. And AJ...
He bashed Montreal.
Yeah, well, I'm not wrong, John.
Look, I know you don't like Montreal and everything like that, but, I mean, it's not all bad.
Well, there's some pretty good people here. I mean, some of my best friends and family are here, like Johnny.
You're the best person I ever met in Montreal.
Oh, right, John! Oh.
So you should be happy about that.
What?
No? Like...
Oh. You'll make me cry over here, buddy. Oh,
Well, but you also have to understand that's when I moved to Montreal. So, like, it's in that sense too, because I only moved to Montreal in 2003. So
so
yeah.
so I'm the
Well, I did
best
know other
person
people in
you've
Montreal
met in the whole city in the past 20 years? That's amazing. Thanks,
since
man.
I moved, but I met other people since then. Before then, actually,
But I'm
than
better
that
than
too.
all of them.
Well, like I met
Everybody.
Jeremy. I met Jeremy before you and all that too.
Oh,
So
I see.
before I moved to
Jeremy better
Montreal.
than me. Jeremy's better than me. That's
No, I'm
true.
not saying that. I'm just saying, I've known Jeremy longer than you. So,
Yeah, well,
he's got
I've known
longevity.
Jeremy longer than I've known you too. So how about that?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I've known Jeremy, we played Little League against each other.
That's a great fact. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've known Jeremy a very long time too. Um what the hell are we talking about? I'm lost now. I
We were
don't
talking
even
about
know.
wrestling, but we got lost in Zelda, which is fantastic. It's
I
okay.
mean, why not, right? I love
But
Zelda.
Cody came out, lost his match. Brock beat him up.
Brock beat him up, and now we have to watch him wrestle again at the Night of Champion, which, whatever. Finn and Seth beat Shinsuke and Damian Priest. I thought the triple threat was not bad. Seth beat Nakamura with a pedigree, not the stomp.
Yep. Well, because he used the stomp later in the finale, which I think
So
is good to kind of change it up a little bit. It's okay. Shows
it
that he
seems,
has more than one move.
yeah, but it seems like he beat Nakamura with his B finisher. The A finish is the stomp. The B finish is the pedigree, and that's what Nakamura falls to because he's a jabroni.
Well, he kind of looked like one there. I mean,
That's what
you
I'm
just
saying.
moved to Raw and you lose your match. He didn't look too good right there. But I didn't like how Priest is like he was in the submission for Nakamura. I believe they called that a knee bar. I thought you were going to get really pissed about that. I'm very surprised you aren't pissed.
I
But
didn't notice.
yeah, so then Priest just rolled out, and then it's just like that's it. Like I'm sorry, but like that's the winning pinfall. Like I'm yeah, sure you're hurt, but I mean roll the other way and like stop the pin. Like that shouldn't destroy you from like, oh, there's no way I can break up that pin. That cost you the match right there.
Yeah, the finish was odd with Priest there.
It was. I think Seth should have just pinned him after the splash because it needed to be quicker. The fact that he had to splash then pedigree, it kind of made Priest look a little bad. But I don't think they care.
Seth beat Finn in the main event of Raw, hit him with the stomp to advance to the finals there, where he will face AJ Styles. That match was, what it was. It wasn't bad, but
Well, the problem with that match was the fact that you had to sit through everything else to get to that match, so you're already tired. And you've seen this match a couple times already. Like they build this up like, oh, it's the big rematch from the Universal title. They've done this match actually a couple times already on Raw before.
yeah.
So we've lived through this and the whole like, oh, Finn's gonna get revenge for the power bomb in the corner. He's done that before in past episodes of Raw. We've lived through this. It's just now we're doing it again, pretty much, because we haven't done it in a while. And it was okay, but again, you're kind of tired at that point, so it doesn't have the same kind of oomph it did in the first hour. So it just comes off as an okay match.
And I think the big question going into this whole title tournament was who's going to be champion, Seth or Cody? And we got our answer.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, okay, Seth is going to wrestle AJ Styles at the pay-per-view, and they're going to have a championship match, and that's how we'll determine the champion, but Seth is going to be champion. So that was really the main thing that I took home from Raw was that, okay, Cody's going to keep going with Brock, and Seth is going to win the belt, and then Cody will circle back to Seth, and then we'll see. Maybe Cody will take it from Seth or not. Whatever. But, I'm fine with Seth being the first champion, this World Heavyweight Championship. I'm good with it. Seth is, the number 2 in the WWE. He's second to Roman as far as the pecking order of the stars in the company, so he should have the secondary title, the B belt. And that's what it is, and that's who he is. And that's where we're at. The B belt for the B show on cable. Seth, the B champion. Which kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. Because I don't think I'm the only one who views it that way. I don't know who is going to see Seth as champion and go, he is the top guy. I mean, maybe there are Seth fans that'll be like, he's the real worker. He can wrestle, not like Roman, because Seth tries to portray this idea that he's the Bret Hart and Roman is the Hulk Hogan type character when, I don't know about that. So I just see it as, well, he's the second guy. He's the other guy in the Shield next to Roman. And he's going to be the B champion on the B show. It would be fun if they went with somebody else who could feel like something new and not just a B champion. But they don't really have many people. I mean, if they wanted to push Gunther hard and maybe get him to be the first World Heavyweight Champion, like, it would change things up. But they're going to go with Seth, who I think most wrestling fans see as the number 2 guy in WWE next to Roman. And that's what this belt is going to be. It's weak. I mean, even with Cody, it would have felt like, it wouldn't have felt good, I don't think. Because I don't think Cody or Seth were really great options. That's why I was kind of pushing for Finn. I was like, well, Finn kind of mixes things up. He's got the whole group behind him. It could have been interesting, but Cody would have been bad because it's like, oh, you can't beat Roman at WrestleMania, so we'll just give you this belt. We made a belt for Cody. But really, they made a belt for Cody and Seth. B champion, B star, B show.
And yet we have somebody who's called himself the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, has 2 World Championships.
Yeah.
And yet there's another guy who's the World Heavyweight Champion. Like, we're expected to put him on that same level. I don't know. Like, you can just tell when Roman came out tonight on SmackDown, like, he's on another level compared to everyone else. Like, there's a greater presence that he brings than Seth does. Like, Seth, all he's got right now is his song. That is it right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that makes him, like, special.
Fancy outfits.
I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing, to be honest. Like, sure, he stands out for it, but it's not always a good thing, to be fair.
It makes him look goofier than anything. Like, it's hard to take him seriously when he's wearing some of the dumb shit that he comes out in. Especially as a babyface or a strong, like, scary guy. He just looks silly.
I mean, compared to Roman, it's just like, you are, like, lower than him, like, without question. Like,
far
you're not
lower.
The star that he is.
I mean,
he's a bigger star.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just that when you look at, you have undisputed world champion, you have undisputed tag team champions. Why do we need other tag team titles? No, I think we're good with just 2 undisputed. That's it.
But just wait.
But what?
Just wait. They'll do it. Roman will win the belts and they'll create new belts just for Raw.
I mean, they might do a double pin thing. That could happen. So then, like, they'll get the SmackDown tag titles, and then Kevin and Sami might keep the Raw ones. It's very possible.
Could you imagine Seth Rollins doing a promo segment in the ring at the level of what Roman Reigns did tonight on SmackDown? Keeping your attention, keeping it going, keeping it interesting, nuanced emotion, different things going on. This was a solid in-ring promo from Roman Reigns and the Bloodline tonight. And, of course, he's got great guys to play off of, and he's got Paul Heyman right there and Solo and the Usos, and there's things happening. But when I watch Seth do his little promo, and then you compare it to a guy like Roman, Roman's got gravitas. You know? Seth has no weight to him.
Yeah.
Roman has gravitas. And gravitas is important, my friends. Never forget. This promo tonight was tremendous. Roman wants to be acknowledged by the crowd in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they chant his name. And Roman says, greatness garners respect. This is what I get. It's just brilliant stuff from Roman, the lines that he has and the delivery. Roman says there's a lot of talk about royal families in the wrestling business, but there's only one. He says all of us in the ring main evented both nights of WrestleMania, and no other family will ever do that. Roman talks about Solo stepping up while he's been away. And Roman says, Solo has done a great job. He dealt with the Matt Riddle problem. But Solo says something about Kevin and Sammy problem. And Roman says, no, Solo. Sammy and Kevin aren't the problem. The problem is your brothers, the Usos. And Roman is unhappy that they lost at WrestleMania. And he's especially unhappy that they dedicated their victory and their rematch to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and then lost to Kevin and Sammy. Roman says, I'm not even a tag team wrestler. I don't know why you're getting me involved in this. I'm the greatest singles champion of all time, he tells the Usos. And Roman wants an apology from the Usos for invoking his name and then losing. The Usos kind of laugh it off. Roman gets mad, slaps Jimmy Uso. Jimmy gets upset, but Jay holds him back and says, Roman, we apologize. We are sorry, Us. We're sorry, Us. Jay wants another shot. Give us another shot. Let us bring the tag team belts home to the bloodline. And Roman says, yeah, we have a plan for that. Wise man. And then Paul Heyman says that they have pulled strings and announces that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be losing their tag team titles at Night of Champions to Solo Sikoa and the tribal chief Roman Reigns. Roman, once again, another pay-per-view, not defending his undisputed WWE Championship. Going up for the tag team belts this time. Has not defended since the win over Cody at WrestleMania. Was not even present at Backlash. But here he is again, going up for the tag team belts. Uso's not happy about it. I'm not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. Roman then dedicates the tag team victory to the greatest tag team of all time. And you think he's going to say the Usos, but of course he's not. He's talking about his daddy and his uncle, Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans, the greatest tag team of all time. And the Usos seem pretty upset about it. And that was the promo. They got a lot done. They advanced the story. They kept the whole Usos friction going. Roman addressed all that's happened with the Usos, with Solo, with Riddle, with Kevin, with Sammy. And we set up a match for Night of Champions. And it took a little while, but kept my attention. And very few things on this show kept my attention, especially tonight when the Yankees were in a back-and-forth game with the Rays that I had my eye on. I was barely watching SmackDown. I mean, I was watching SmackDown, but it was hard to keep watching SmackDown when the Yankees were having this crazy game that they won 6-5. Tony Rizzo, 2 home runs on Tony Rizzo bobblehead night in the Bronx. Beat the Rays. Tremendous game. Best win of the season. One of the best baseball games I've seen all season, and I watch all the Yankee games. What a game tonight. What a game. Let's go Yankees. Anthony Rizzo is a hero. But SmackDown was having trouble keeping my attention. But when Roman Reigns was there, when the tribal chief addressed his people, his people listen. I listened. It was good. I thought it was the best promo on SmackDown and the second best thing on SmackDown next to the Edge, Rey, and AJ Styles triple threat.
Well, not surprising that Roman's larger than life. He has that persona about him. When he comes out, business picks up. It's the segment you have to watch because this is what the WWE is really all about. It's all about Roman Reigns. He's the biggest star of the show, biggest star in the whole company. So whenever he does something, it's important. And he has that kind of feel to him where it's like something big could happen just because he's there. So, again, better than Seth Franklin and easily like the best champion we've had in a long time, I would say. Even though he doesn't defend, he doesn't have to defend. It makes it a bigger deal when he does defend. Like, there's no one for him to wrestle and have champions because it's too obvious. Like, to get someone where it's interesting, it's going to be tough. After Sammy, after Cody, it's really tough to bring up challengers. They could, but it's going to take time to build them up.
Yep. He's beat everybody. There's nobody there.
Yep.
He's beat Seth. He's beat Finn. He's beat Kevin. He's beat Bobby. He's beat Drew. He's beat everybody. He's beat Cody. He's beat Brock. Like, who do they have that he hasn't beat already? And more than once. Cody's the only guy he's only beat once, but, I mean, other than that, he's beat everybody multiple times. It's like, all right, what else can you do? I'll tell you what else you can do. I'm not giving up hope, John. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. The Rock. Maybe. What else do you do?
Would be interesting.
Like, what can you do with Roman at this point? Because it seems like Cody is not going to be in the mix unless they try to unify all these belts next year at Mania, which maybe they do the rematch Cody-Roman next year, but maybe not. And if they do you really think Cody would win? I don't. I don't think it would be the right move to put Cody over Roman at WrestleMania for all the belts. Like, I don't think Cody should beat Roman in the end. That is really how I feel. I think Roman should just be the guy that beats Cody, and Cody can't beat Roman because Cody is Cody and Roman is Roman. It's just how it is. But well, I think you got to go with what's bigger for Roman. Like, what can you do at this point? Do you disagree? You think you revisit the Cody thing? Because I'm telling you, man, if you revisit the Cody thing and you put Roman over Cody again, people are going to be really mad. But I don't think they should be because it's the right move. Why would you put over the guy who started your competition over the greatest champion that you've had in the past 10, 15 years? Why would you do that on the grandest stage of them all? It doesn't make sense. It's not good business.
Well, the main thing is, like, Cody, again, started as a WWE talent, so it's like he came back home kind of thing.
Yeah,
They've done it before with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre did the same thing.
He didn't beat Roman.
Came back.
Didn't beat Roman.
Beat Brock.
So did Cody. Okay. So did Cody. Brock's a consolation prize when you can't be the guy. A lot of guys want to be the guy. They think they'll be the guy. And they don't get to be the guy, and they're like, well, you get to beat Brock, and they're like, well, that's cool. Not many guys around here get to beat Brock, so I guess I'm a guy. I'm important. I mean something. Where's Drew now? I think he's maybe having contract issues and possibly leaving. How'd that play out for Drew? Big old comeback. Out the door again after not quite getting to the mountaintop. They had a big stadium show in Cardiff. Drew Roman main event. You know, a lot of people thought Drew was going to win that one. And Roman beat him.
A lot of people thought so.
And Roman beat him, and Drew didn't reach that mountaintop, and he never will. And now I think he's looking at a way out. It'll happen to Cody.
Well,
Sorry, it'll happen to Cody.
See, I think the McIntyre curse is coming after you right now. It sounds like,
The
but it's okay.
Claymore.
It's all right.
It got me. Drew's Claymore. Oh no, it's in my throat. Angela. The sword I named after me dead mother.
I thought
For some
Vince
reason.
is the one who gave him the sword, but whatever. Yeah, I thought it was Vince's sword, but
Vince McMahon
doesn't
gave
matter.
me the sword. He stuck it up his ass first. That's right, pal. It's got that McMahon juice on it. All right.
Yummy.
Yummy. That's right. Made a lot of ladies taste it, and I had to pay them off. Anyways, so before we devolve into Vince, Roman down the road, I think Rock is still the biggest thing you could do because he hasn't done it. And what else is there for him to do? He has beat them all, done it all. There's nobody left for Roman to beat. Right now, he's just running laps. He's lapping the competition. You know, it's like, oh, I beat everybody. Let's just beat him again. How many times can you do that? Win the tag belts. Feud with the Usos over that, I guess.
Either at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. I think Roman versus Bad Bunny. I think that's the match to make.
Okay. But that's just like Roman versus Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whatever. It's like a one-time celebrity thing. Bad Bunny's not beating Roman, you know? Come on.
Of course not.
So who cares?
But it's a big match.
I
high
guess
profile.
you could do Bad Bunny against Roman, but like WWE's not going to get CM Punk. Triple H isn't coming out of retirement. The Rock, Stone Cold, is the only guys left to beat for Roman.
Stone Cold's doing like a TV show right now. You see that?
Yeah.
Stone Cold Takes on America or something?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know it's happening. But
yeah.
I don't know what else you do for Roman. And it's not like they have big stars in the pipeline. They're going to come in and change the game. They've got nothing. So keep the belt on
the NXT call-ups?
Keep the belt on Roman forever. Oh yeah, I'm real thrilled about Pretty Deadly. Wow. And don't tell me
great.
LA Knight's going to beat Roman. A lot of people are high on LA Knight, and I am too, but let's be real, man. You know? Yeah,
well,
I like him. I think he's very talented. He's getting over. He's got momentum. His matches are fun. His promos are very fun. There's something there, but he's not the guy to beat the guy.
No, he can beat Austin Theory, I think.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Could Austin Theory eventually be the guy to beat Roman?
Not yet.
Not in his current incarnation, right? Not this version of Austin Theory.
He hasn't hit the next level yet for him.
No.
But it's still early for him, so.
Yeah. Gunther?
I mean, it could work. Just they're on the wrong shows right now, so it doesn't really work.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. It's like I'm trying to think of guys they haven't thrown at Roman yet that have the potential to get to the next level and possibly be the guy to beat him.
Right.
I mean, people like Braun Breaker, but I think he's lost steam. I don't think it happens.
Well, they're still working on him too. It's tough to say with NXT. Like, you've seen a lot of them, they're showing what they can do kind of thing, but they really got to give them something in terms of good stories. Like, they just debut them and just like, oh, this is what they do. It's nothing really like out of the ordinary. Like, I don't know what you thought, like the Zoe Stark, Nikki Cross match, but I didn't think much, to be honest. Like,
I mean, was it a match?
Zoe Stark's okay. Yeah, it was a back and forth little thing for 2 minutes. No.
Yeah, it was pretty short. I don't know. I wasn't impressed with Zoe Stark, her backstage interview, or her match with Nikki Cross. Not impressed.
What's going on with Nikki exactly? Is like she's
Nothing.
doing this whole like depression kind of thing or something, or
it's nothing.
Okay.
There's no thought put into it, I don't think. We shouldn't put thought into it because they're not thinking about it. Who cares? Mustafa Ali beat Otis. Otis got distracted by Maxine and Chad Gable arguing over who should give Otis advice, so that thing is continuing over on Raw, in case you were wondering. Rhea Ripley beat Dana Brooke by submission after hitting Riptide. She put a submission move on her. Dana got no offense, and I was like, oh, Dana Brooke still employed? Rhea reapplied the submission move after the match, and then Natalya came out, and Rhea left. So I guess Natalya is going to get the next shot at Rhea Ripley, possibly at Night of Champions, which is just not believable, but hey. Natty. When they have nothing, sometimes they throw Natty at you, right? Like, came out of nowhere.
Well, they're calling her the gatekeeper, right? Which is a odd thing to kind of give her, but that's
gatekeeper to what? Rhea's already usually a gatekeeper is the person that stands in the way of you getting a shot at the champ, not somebody who loses all their matches and you're the champion. How's Natty a gatekeeper? Gatekeeper to what? The Heart Dungeon?
I guess to that the hole that is in the women's division. Like, she's at the bottom, so she's always there, I guess.
I don't know.
It's weird. I don't know why they try to put it over like it's a big thing, be the gatekeeper, but it's the wrong moniker, I think, for her. I think they should use something else.
Well, it's a failed project already, and it won't last. It'll be one pay-per-view match for Natty. She'll lose to Rhea, and we'll move on. Right?
Well, what's going on with the women's titles? Like, because Bianca's still the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown. And, like, you know, Rhea's still the SmackDown Champion on Raw.
Yeah. Are they not going to change that? They haven't changed that yet.
Well, because they're putting over that Bianca's had this long reign, and I guess they don't want it to end, right? So they're just going to keep it like this for whatever reason. It's kind of weird, but fine, I guess. I'd rather them not swap the titles anyways, but it's going to be a weird thing.
Yeah, I think they should swap the belts because it doesn't make sense. Sammy and Kevin beat Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci on Raw. And now Sammy and Kevin will have to defend against Solo and Roman. Like, Solo and Roman are going to beat them, right?
I mean, it's tough to say because I wasn't expecting Kevin and Sammy to ever wrestle in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So the first time they wrestle, they're going to lose? I don't know about that. I think they'd actually win. I think this just, early right now, thinking that the Usos are going to screw up and cost Solo and Roman the match.
Yeah. Or screw up in a way where you wonder, did they screw up or did they do that on purpose?
Oh, sure, whatever.
That's how you drama. That's how you got to do it, right? That's the play, I think. But I think you're right about that. Yeah. But Sammy and Kevin losing now, it's like, what? But then Roman and Solo don't lose matches, so it's hard to figure.
Right, but let's talk about this match on Raw here, because this did make a lot of sense to me, where this is their big match. They lost to the Bloodline, and now they're going to prove themselves against Imperium, who got squashed in like less than 2 minutes against the Street Profits on SmackDown the week prior.
Oh, yeah.
And now they have a competitive match against the tag team champions. And this is supposed to make Kevin and Sammy look good. It didn't make them look too good, in my opinion.
Just killing time on Raw. That's what that was. Just killing time.
I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed. Like, I get why people are saying like Kevin and Sammy should drop those tag titles, because it feels like it's kind of killed their momentum. Like, they were top stars, and now it just feels like they're doing whatever with the tag titles at this point.
It's like I said before they became tag champs. No, I said this months ago. There's nothing in the tag division. They're gonna go way down the card being tag team champions. The peak was the Bloodline stuff with Roman. All that stuff was their peak. Winning the tag belts, it's all downhill from there. Because, I mean, you've seen the history of the tag team champions lately in WWE. Nothing happens. especially if you're not the Usos connected to Roman. Like, the only reasons the Usos were tag team champions for so long and were actually compelling is because they were in the top storyline in the show. But once Sami and Kevin are not involved in that, then they're in the tag division wrestling Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci and the Street Profits and Alpha Academy and whatever else, Braun and Ricochet, you know. Thankfully for them, they got injected back into the Bloodline story for one more match, probably one last one, where they get to wrestle Roman and Solo. So thankfully, they will be brought back to the island of relevancy with the Tribal Chief. But after Night of Champions, not good, because the tag division is weak. It's not Kevin and Sami's fault. Like, they're a solid tag team. They're fun to watch. But if you've got no opponents and no real feuds and no reason to exist, oh, you're not going to be hot fire in the WWE. It's lame.
You know, it kind of goes to show, I think, you know, the Bloodline storyline with Sami was the best thing they've done in a long time. And they didn't have anything else. And they just have to keep going back to it because they have nothing else at this point, sadly.
Well, it's good for Sami and Kevin they get to do this because, you know, their other options are terrible. They really need it. Yeah. Trish Stratus cut an in-ring promo that I enjoyed. Becky Lynch has been missing. Trish is wondering where she is. Trish says she will find Becky. Probably find her in some dank corner in Iowa, lying in a corner with her dumb daughter. And then Trish says,
this
yes.
Is hilarious.
Yes, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
Becky's daughter is dumb. She doesn't even know her colors, and she's 2 years old. What a dumb kid. And honestly, if you are 2 years old and you don't really know colors, it's happening. I think you are a dumb kid. So maybe Becky, I mean, it's not Becky's fault. Seth's the father, so you know what I mean? I've seen his promos.
Okay. It's a dad fault. I'll remember that.
Oh, I think it's, yeah. Well, no, my kids are very smart. Are you kidding? My son is 5 and he reads fluently. Other 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds in his class, they're not reading. Zevi's reading, okay? He's a smart boy.
All right.
Very smart.
So all the faults are on you, though, is what you're saying, though.
Yeah. If he does dumb shit, that's my fault. If he's smart, it's because his mom is pretty damn smart. So there's that. I'm just a dumb guy who watches wrestling. What do I know? Trish talks about this is her show. Nobody's going to steal my spotlight. And then Becky's music hits and the crowd pops, but Trish is laughing because it was all a big trick. Becky's not there. Ha, ha, ha. Trish fooled you all. But then Becky's music hits again, and it is Becky. She shows up from behind and punches Trish a few times before hitting her with a Bexploder suplex that sends Trish crashing to the mat and rolling out of the ring. Becky, Trish, Night of Champions? Saudi Arabia? I mean, will Trish go to Saudi Arabia? Maybe.
Wait and see. I imagine there's a lot of great payoffs for everybody there. But
yeah.
Is that in the plan? So I don't know. Like, I don't know about you, but Becky, like, did she look okay? Because to me, she looked kind of like sickly.
Yeah.
Like, did you notice anything?
I mean, I've been noticing for a while.
Okay. I just noticed this past week. I'm like,
she's
whoa,
lost.
I
mean, look at Becky Lynch. You know, before she had her kid, and then since she's lost a lot of muscle mass. She's lost a lot of weight. She doesn't look as intimidating as she used to. She's quite this week. She's quite skinny. She's quite skinny.
Yeah.
I've noticed it. I hope she's okay. I don't know what's going on. I've noticed it. I've been I don't want to talk about. I've been kind of avoiding talking about it on the show because I don't know what's happening with her. But you know, it could be an eating disorder. I don't know what the hell's going on. You know, but there's something up with. But yeah, I mean, I've noticed Becky doesn't look. I mean, I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on with her. but she has not looked like herself for a while on TV.
Right.
And the wrestling, like it hurts her wrestling a little bit because she's throwing strikes and they don't look that like they're really hitting because there's not much behind them. And I don't know. It's there's something. I don't know what's going on with Becky, but she has not been that effective over the past 6 months to a year, I'd say. I've noticed.
All right. Well, I just noticed it this past week where I'm like, whoa, yeah, you're right. Like, she seems a lot smaller, and
It's been going on for a while.
Okay, well, I just caught on now, and my immediate thought is just because she left because of injury, so maybe the injuries are so bad that she can't train properly.
Maybe.
And that could be a thing.
Oh, that might be a thing. I don't know what's going on. She's just really skinny, and she doesn't seem to have a ton of muscle, Like, she looks different than what she used to look like. Like, the man,
Right.
Becky Lynch, when she was in her prime, like, kicking ass, wrestling Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, looks very different than the current version of Becky Lynch. Very different. And it's like, kind of, like, what is happening? Is she okay? It's so different that I go, is she okay? I hope she's okay. I don't know.
Well, it could be the CrossFit too, because her and Seth do CrossFit, right? So maybe she's just doing it a hell of a lot.
That's it. Sometimes people get obsessive though with it and take it a little too far. I don't know. She doesn't look pro wrestler intimidating though. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have a ton of mass on her. She looks kind of small. Even in there against Trish, and Trish is pretty skinny herself.
Well, that's it. That's what really threw it off. Was like, whoa, is she smaller than Trish? Like,
she is.
If she's not, yeah, like it's bad. Like,
and she didn't used to be like that. It's like, what happened?
No, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's okay though.
Yeah. But I tell you, her up against Rhea Ripley is not going to look good if they go there.
Oh yeah, not anymore.
You know
what
I mean?
Anymore, yeah.
Rhea makes her look bad. Rhea will make her look very bad just standing in front of her. Rhea's making some of the men look bad standing in front of them. She's jacked, baby. Dominic Mysterio, Rhea's guy, Dom Dom, or as Xavier Woods called him, Dum Dum. Xavier lost to him, though. Dominic Mysterio beat Xavier Woods on Raw. Rhea Ripley did pull Dominic out of the ring to avoid taking a top rope elbow drop from Woods, which apparently is fine. You're allowed to do that. Not a disqualification.
Apparently, if you're on the same team, apparently. I remember one of the referees tweeted me that, yeah. It's stupid.
Oh, okay.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's stupid, but apparently that's the new rules in WWE. You can do that.
So that happened. I guess they're not giving Woods a singles push, maybe waiting for Kofi to come back so they could do a tag team thing. Veer and Jinder Mahal and another guy did like a backstage promo thing. It's a new group of Indian wrestlers. It used to be Jinder, Veer, and Shanky. I guess they dropped Shanky and got a new guy, but it seems to be the exact same thing that they did a few years ago with Veer and Jinder and Shanky. Just different version of it. And it
pretty
didn't
much
take off then, and it won't take off now. But hey, that happened. It happened. Miz will wrestle Shinsuke Nakamura on Raw next week. And what else will happen? We'll have.
Can we talk about that bad promo that they cut? It was Sonya, Chelsea, and Raquel and Liv.
And then
that. Whew.
Oh, that one. Oh, that was bad. I thought you were talking about Sonya, Chelsea, Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Indy Hartwell, and Dexter Lumis backstage promo. That was also not great.
Yeah, it wasn't good either. Yeah, it wasn't good either, but I thought the other one was much, much worse.
Yes. Trying to get the rematch. It wasn't good. I don't know. You expect it to
I
be
don't
good?
know who writes that. Yeah, but who writes that stuff? The fact that we had to sit through that, like that didn't add anything whatsoever. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, I think less of these people now because they had to go through that. It didn't get anyone over.
Liv and Raquel beat Bayley and Dakota tonight to retain the tag team titles. Bayley told the ref to go check on a hurt Dakota. While the ref's back was turned, Io tried to use the belt to hit Liv, but Raquel held on to the belt, which stopped Io in her tracks. Bayley got pushed into Io, bumping her off the apron, and Liv Morgan rolled up Bayley off the distraction to get the win. They seem to be building some sort of friction between Bayley and Io. I don't know how that turns out. Bianca Belair did an in-ring championship celebration. Thankfully, she didn't talk for very long. Asuka came out. Bianca didn't speak at all. Asuka came out, went to shake Bianca's hand, but spit the green mist in her eyes and blinded Bianca Belair. Bianca sold it like she was burning her eyes out. And then we went to commercial break, and when we came back, she's in the trainer's room still going like, ah! It was ridiculous. And I asked the question, why is it fine in Asuka's mouth, but as soon as she spits it out, it's like acid in your eyes? Wouldn't it hurt Asuka's tongue too? What's going on?
It's like orange juice. That's what I think the mist is.
Orange juice?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to get orange
Citrusy.
juice in your eyes.
I guess.
Yeah.
In the mouth, not bad. Spat in your eyes, I guess bad. Especially with some pulp. I don't like... I'm like Tony Soprano. I don't like it with pulp. I don't like no pulp. I like some pulp. The difference.
I mean, both work.
Tony Soprano goes, he's like, what's this? It's orange juice with the pulp. And Carmella's like, you like it with pulp. I like the one that says some pulp. And then she throws a phone at him. Classic. Oh, Tony Soprano. Pretty Deadly had a backstage encounter with the Brawling Brutes tonight on SmackDown. What the hell are Pretty Deadly? These NXT guys, are they a couple? I think they're doing like a Billy and Chuck.
No, I don't think they're doing a Billy and Chuck. I just think
it's like a NoHo Hank and Crystal Ball situation? 50-50?
I think it's like a more modernized version of American Males, I think.
Oh, okay. I get it. I don't hate the concept. The promo thing was not great backstage, but, it wasn't terrible. There was something there.
I don't like the idea of, like, you're trashing guys and they're right in front of you like that. And they don't destroy you.
And there's
like,
three
you
of them.
shouldn't be able to just... Exactly.
There's three of them, and one of them is Sheamus, and the other one is some sort of feral animal called Butch, who, like, escapes and froths at the mouth, right?
And they just let him throw all these insults on all three of them. It's like, that didn't make any sense whatsoever.
No. But it happened. Bobby Lashley beat Sheamus and Austin Theory in his triple threat. During the match, though, Bobby got cut open for real.
Yeah.
And he was bleeding.
He got thrown to the steps.
Yeah, he was bleeding a lot. And then he had to wrestle again because he won the match. So he had to wrestle later on against AJ Styles. And he started bleeding again because obviously.
Right.
And AJ beat him with the phenomenal forearm. So it'll be AJ and Seth. And Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight title. But kind of a rough night at the office for Bobby Lashley, right? That's the last thing you want when you have another match later in the night is to get cut open like that. Sucks.
I mean, it does suck, but it also helps him in a sense where it's like he had to battle through that. So it kind of, you understand why he lost because it was battling through an injury.
Yeah, that's a way of putting it. I'm just thinking about the real guy who didn't intend to get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's got to wrestle again. It's like, damn. Well, yeah, of course he's tough. He's Bobby Lashley. He's one tough SOB.
I disagree, though.
What?
Not with him being SOB. Don't disagree with that. But I disagree with the idea of AJ versus Bobby, though. Like, honestly, there's no heat. There was no heat in the match because it's face versus face. It should have been AJ versus Austin Theory. Then there would have been heat. people would have cared. No one cared.
Edge got some people thinking he would win tonight, but that wasn't happening.
That was different though, because that's three faces. Those are three faces, three huge personas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole different dynamic, and it's different too when it's Lashley, Sheamus, and Theory, or well, we're gonna beat up that one little guy, and then the big guys will fight. So there was a totally different dynamic. Then when it's just AJ versus Bobby, there's no true conflict, just all the better man win kind of thing. But people aren't invested as much. So I think that was a miss on their part.
Yeah, I wasn't so invested in that match. It was what it was. It wasn't super fun. Grayson Waller has secured the rights to interview AJ Styles on some sort of interview show on SmackDown next week. Grayson Waller is an NXT guy they called up. We'll see how that goes. And Cameron Grimes made his SmackDown debut, beating Baron Corbin in a squash match. There you go. Cameron Grimes and Grayson Waller making their presence known. Grimes is good, is he?
Yeah, Grimes. We've seen Grimes before. I forget his name in Impact, but he was also in a lot of those deletion matches at the Hardy compound.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think yeah. That rings a bell. So he's there on SmackDown, and we haven't seen much of him, but we'll see more going forward. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, official for the tag team titles at Night of Champions. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, official at Night of Champions. And Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles to crown the first ever World Heavyweight, well, not the first ever, but the new World Heavyweight Champion. Also official for Night of Champions. The Usos will take on Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar next week on SmackDown. And the Brawling Brutes, Butch and... what's his name? Will wrestle Pretty Deadly. What's his name again?
It's funny. I'm drawing a blank on it too right now. It's Butch and
not Sheamus. The guy that's not Sheamus. The other guy. The guy that broke Big E's neck. That guy. Ridge Holland.
Ridge Holland. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Yes. I can only think of him as the Big E guy. The botch suplex Big E guy, unfortunately. Poor Big E. I hope he's okay. I hope he comes back one day.
He's doing commercial with Bobby Lashley now.
Yeah, that's cool. You want to go over to AEW World and see what's going on there? I know we got a comment saying people wanted to know our thoughts on Don Callis turning on Kenny Omega at the end of the night, which was kind of crazy.
It was a big show. No question. They definitely treated it like it was one of their biggest shows I think they've done for Dynamite. Like, again, there's some hits and misses, but definitely felt like it was a big event feel for a Wednesday.
The main event delivered, too. I think the main event was a big part of whether or not this show succeeded. And Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega in a steel cage, it's hard to fail, but they put on a hell of a show. And there was a cool angle at the end of the match. Like, stuff happened. It was a good match. The finish was solid. I really liked that. I thought that was the best match that I saw on TV all week. Kenny and Moxley in the cage. That was fun.
I'd probably say it if they didn't take forever, like, unscrewing the top rope. Like, they should have figured out another way to do that. That took out way too much time. And to me, like, zapped a lot of the energy of the match. I thought they were going, like, 100 miles, and then suddenly we went down to 2 miles. When that happened, it was a shame. Like I don't mind the idea. The idea is fine, but the fact that it took so damn long, and then the crowd was kind of making fun of them at the end of it. So to me, it kind of zapped a lot of the energy that they had. It was still a good match, like you said, but I don't know if it was now the best match because of that.
Yeah, AJ, Edge, and Ray maybe stole it.
Maybe. Again, that wasn't perfect either. So, but. I guess each their own. Everyone had good, bads of the week. Mm-hmm. That's probably the best AEW did, best WWE did this week.
A lot of blood, a lot of weapons, broken glass. Moxley bumped on broken glass during this cage match. There was a barbed wire chair, a chair wrapped in barbed wire that they hit each other with.
Their backs.
Their backs, yeah, total mess. Kenny doing that running knee through the cage and Moxley taking the bump out of the cage looked rough. Looked
Yeah.
rough. Hell of a bump there from Moxley and even for Kenny to kind of fly through the cage. But I think Moxley got the worst of it. But it was weird. You think Kenny got... Well, Kenny was like hurting his knee. And it took him a while to get...
His groin. Like, that looked bad. His groin, like...
Well, so Kenny came out kind of hurt. But it's weird, like, Kenny did the running knee on Moxley. They both tumble out of the cage. But when they all come to and start fighting again, Moxley's the one who kind of regains first and beats up on Kenny. It's like, well, didn't you take the move? I didn't like that.
Yeah. No, I kind of like, because the way I looked at it, Kenny took the worst of that, because I thought Kenny was legit hurt. Because that looked bad the way it was. I thought he could have been seriously injured.
I thought it looked worse for Moxley, but it was a rough little bump for both guys. Moxley came at Kenny with the screwdriver, but Don Callis came in the ring and distracted Moxley, which allowed Kenny to hit his finisher, the One Wing Angel, and went to pin Moxley. But instead, during the pin, Don Callis hits Kenny in the back with the screwdriver and stabs him there. Moxley crawls over and covers Kenny for the win. So it doesn't seem like Don Callis is with Moxley and the Blackpool guys. Right? Because he still stopped Moxley from doing damage to Kenny and allowed Kenny to hit his finisher on Moxley. So it doesn't seem like Callis is leaving Kenny to go with those guys. He's leaving Kenny to go with Hangman?
I have no idea what's going on. We're going to find out next week, more than likely. He's probably going to do a promo or something, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense. That's why you have to tune in next week, kind of thing. I didn't mind it. It's just to go on the finish with that, though. Like, that, to me, was the most surprising. It was just like, okay, he stabbed him. It didn't look that good, but okay, he hit him. And then he just pins him. I'm like, okay. You go through all those moves, but Don Callis, with not the greatest stab attempt in the world.
Yeah.
That's a 1, 2, 3. So it's odd, but I get it in the sense where it's like the cheat is the big thing, so a move might take away a little bit, but honestly, like, Moxley just put in like a bulldog choke. I think that just would have been better than just pin him after the stab that didn't look that good.
But Moxley just took Kenny's finisher. Maybe he's got to still sell rather than apply a move.
Tough spot.
Mm-hmm. Weird, though, for Don Callis to do that. I'm not really sure what they're doing.
Yes and no. I mean, you kind of expected something was going to happen, right?
But for Don to turn on Kenny at this point, like, why? And especially if he's not going to be the Blackpool Combat Club mouthpiece, new Regal type of thing, like, what is that? Because Kenny and his friends are already embroiled in this whole feud with the Blackpool Combat Club, right? It's not over. There's still stuff to do.
Not yet.
And now Don Callis is in opposition to Kenny. So how does he fit into the whole situation? You know, like, how does that all fit?
It's a good question.
I feel like it muddies the whole Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite story, and it confuses things, and it makes you wonder where Don is, and now he's got his group. You would assume he's got a heel wrestler with him. And I think the only way it kind of ties in together, if it is maybe Hangman, who's turning on Kenny for some reason. I don't know. I really don't know. I could see it being Hangman. I could see it being Takeshita gone real evil and angry. But then, you know, what does that do? What does that do? Does Takeshita, or does Takeshita... I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think Takeshita is going to join the Blackpool Combat Club because he already didn't want to, right?
No, yeah, I agree. Now there's just going to be friction if, like, oh, is it on Don's side? Is it on our side? That's just going to create that kind of friction, I think. But Again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. If he's going to make his own like anti-elite kind of faction, maybe
Yeah.
I can see that go down. But we'll have to wait and see. But to me, this is actually good. Where it's like you're wondering something what's going to happen because you're really intrigued on what's going to happen in the story. It's not just like, oh, this happened, this doesn't make any sense, this is ridiculous, just happened for the sake of happening. I think they have a good idea of where they're going with this. We just got to wait for them to reveal it.
I can't say I'm that interested in where they're going, but they're going somewhere. Claudio beat Rey Fenix in a match where if Rey won, he got to get a shot at Claudio's Ring of Honor world title, and because Claudio won, him and a partner of his choosing get to take on Rey Fenix and his brother for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. You like this match?
I thought it was a great wrestling match. This is a great mesh of styles too. Like Claudio can wrestle almost any style against Rey Fenix, one of the best lucha libre high flyers in the world. This was just, in my opinion, a display of fantastic wrestling back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. There were some moments.
Feel the same way.
Nah, there were some moments that just kind of took me out of it. Rey Fenix's selling on strikes is just it doesn't look real at all. And
that's fair.
And he changes the way he sells like midway. Like at one point Claudio's doing the elbows to the head. He's got him like all splayed out. And Rey is kind of taking it one way, and then he starts to like snap his head a lot, and it's like, did you just decide to put more emphasis into the sell halfway through the elbow spot? It's just like, what is happening there? What is this selling that you're doing? It seems too fake.
I get you. To me, it didn't like throw me out of it, but I can understand your view on that one.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not my favorite. Rey Fenix is not my favorite. You know? Like, I recognize his athleticism, but as far as his style of wrestling, like, it's not really for me. It's not what I like.
I get you. I understand.
I like Miro. Miro was backstage, went to Tony Khan's office, and that's all we saw of Miro, but I guess we'll see Miro again, which is nice. I like Miro.
He's coming back. So
there you go. The Redeemer. MJF did a pre-tape promo about his match at Double or Nothing and the 4 pillars and being better than all of them, and his reign of terror has just begun. Now, everybody got to do one of these pre-tape promos. MJF did one, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. I thought Darby's was the best. I thought Sammy's was the worst.
Was pretty good.
His was the worst.
No, Jungle Boys was the worst. Like
Jungle Boys was also garbage.
Okay, well, we agree on that one.
I mean, Jungle Boys.
Sammy's was all right though.
Sammy's was ridiculous. Is he a babyface?
I think he's trying to be. That's what it sounded like.
Why? Why is he a babyface? Like, what the hell was that? All of a sudden, he's like, I was a black sheep in the 4 pillars, and I never had the machine pushing me, and look at me now, and dreams come true, and all the kids out there, believe in yourself. Dreams can come true. All the kids out there, believe in yourself. Dreams can come true. Sammy Guevara for the children? Since when? What the hell was that? It was terrible. You got Chris Jericho there, the biggest heel, one of the biggest heels in the company, the man who handcuffs a man to watch his wife get beaten viciously in front of his eyes. This man is endorsing the man who says, hey, kids, follow your dreams and they'll come true. What?
Right.
It doesn't add up. Sammy Guevara's in the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho's a bad guy. Sammy Guevara can't be like, hey, kids. No. Stupid.
Well, the way I look at it, like, Sammy doesn't believe he's a bad guy. Like, he thinks what he does, like, he does it, and he's a good role model for people. So that's the way I kind of looked at it. Jericho's this exact same way.
Lame.
Jericho believes he's right.
I don't know.
I definitely liked it more than Jungle Boys, without question. Definitely better than Jungle Boys. I thought it was up there with Darby's.
Darby was the best, though. Right?
Darby's was good. Darby's was very good. Yeah.
Darby's was really
Darby.
good. With his
It should be
dad
Darby versus
at the
MJF.
skate park and his home skate park. Sting talking about Darby being a young Sting because he didn't have an uncle or a dad or any connection to the business, and he made it just like Darby. I think that was really good. All the guys like Jericho endorsing MJ or Sammy and all, and Christian even endorsing Jungle Boy in his little promo. But Sting endorsing Darby was the best one. It was the best one. It was the best promo, and it shows like Darby has an advantage because he's a filmmaker. Like, he makes these little movies, and when he's given the opportunity to make these promos and do this stuff, he kills it. And it's far more complex and it's just better. It's better than what the other guys can do because they don't have the ability that Darby has. They just don't. Darby Allin can make movies. Jungle Boy's dad was a Hollywood guy, but I mean, let's be real. Darby is the real star.
Well, for me, it was just his passion really shined through. And like Sammy was up there, but Darby's was just like stronger. And Jungle Boy, like, it didn't feel like he had much of anything really. It just felt like he was just going through the motions in that promo because he doesn't really like doing them.
Yeah. Jungle Boy says he's not here to sing show tunes. He wants to be the best pro wrestler in the world. Well, you got a long way to go there, buddy. A long way to go. MJF's promo also, like, not that strong. It was, well, you know, basic.
For MJF, yeah. For MJF, it was kind of disappointing.
Mm-hmm. FTR did an in-ring promo. Dax wants to apologize to Mark Briscoe for something. I'm not really sure what.
Okay, again, what happened on Rampage? It was like an accidental hit or something.
Okay.
So that's why.
Well, there was more accidental pile driving this time, which, what? Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh come out instead of Mark Briscoe, and Sanjay wants them to accept their challenge for Double or Nothing for the AEW Tag Team belts. And Mark Briscoe comes out and says he talked to Tony Khan, and he's going to be the special referee for the FTR versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal Tag Team title match at Double or Nothing. And Mark wants to toast between the teams, drinking some tequila. Sanjay drinks it, spits it in Dax's eyes, which blinds Dax. Cash wants to fight, but Mark Briscoe stops him. He's trying to keep the peace. He wants everybody to be friends. Mark stops Cash. And then he pushes Jeff Jarrett away, but then Jarrett kind of pushes Mark Briscoe into Dax, who grabs Mark Briscoe while not seeing anyone and pile drives him, which is a little ridiculous. But Dax couldn't see. And then Dax is all concerned because he hurt Mark Briscoe, and Mark seems a little upset with Dax for accidentally pile driving him. I can understand accidentally punching, but accidental pile driver, it's got to be a first. A little much to believe in. You know, it's like I don't know if I'm buying that.
Well, you find it like first time it's happened. I'm pretty sure there's something like this happened before, like an accidental pile driver. I feel like they've done this kind of angle before in wrestling. This was actually probably a tribute to a past angle, more than likely.
Maybe an accidental, like the one of flipping thing, Canadian Destroyer. Didn't they do that at some point for some stupid reason?
I'm sure they've done so many things over the years. Like a lot of things have been repeated over and over again, so wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm. So that match is going to happen at some point. Jeff Jarrett,
Double or Nothing, they said.
Yep. Yeah, plan. Double or Nothing. That's it. We know. And yes, I do see the Rumble comments. Eagle wants to know if I see the Rumble comments. I do. I check them.
If they want AJ, they'll have to wait till next Thursday.
AJ will be on Thursday. Thunder Rosa came back as well. Looks like she's going to come back to wrestling, which is good. She's one of the top stars in their division. Good to have her back, right?
I agree. Like I know there's some sort of controversy about her, but I don't really know much about it. And to me, I just think in terms of like who I want to see wrestle, and in terms of their top female talent, she's up there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her against like Toni Storm, Ruby Soho, Saraya. Those would be good matches.
Or with them against Britt and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, well, just because I'd rather see that, because we've done the whole Brit thing with her already,
Yeah.
So change it up.
Yeah. Tony Khan was backstage and tells us that next week we will have a huge announcement on Dynamite. Tony Khan, next week on Dynamite.
He actually seemed he's actually very normal and wasn't like, doing those kind of shakes that you say or whatever with his eyes. He's actually extremely like coherent and like not nervous. So I thought it was probably one of his best lead-ins to announcements that he's ever done, actually.
Amen.
Now, what the announcement's going to be.
Sometimes it takes a while to get that dosage right, and he's on point. Tony Khan, big announcement next week. It looks like it's going to be to officially announce the new Saturday night show that's going to be called something. I don't know. They have a name. Collision, right?
Collision is the name, yeah.
Right. So it looks like they're going to announce the new Saturday night show, which everybody knows is happening anyways, and possibly announce a new TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. We'll see.
That's huge.
Looks like a possibly new TV deal and a new TV show. So we'll see what the future there of AEW is as far as their broadcasting rights. We might get an indication there next week on Dynamite. So that's something. That's big news for AEW. Orange Cassidy beat Daniel Garcia with a cradle to retain the AEW International title. It was all right. Not my favorite, but it was fine.
It was better than the week prior when he wrestled Bandito. I thought that was completely all over the place. This was good. Mm-hmm. Feels like they probably wrestled each other before, but still a good match, good back and forth. The finish, not the greatest finish, but not a bad finish. Like I didn't
love it.
No, I didn't love it, but I'm like, it's all right. It's not bad because it's not the last match, just middle of the show, so it's like I get it.
Mm-hmm. Christian Cage cut a tremendous promo in the ring, talking about getting a title shot against Wardlow because he's Christian. Why wouldn't he get a title shot? He's a massive star, and Christian wonders why all the AEW wrestlers have daddy issues, like his opponent Wardlow, who had a father who died. Christian says, I'm not going to berate Wardlow's father like I did with Jungle Boy because Wardlow's father wasn't famous and nobody cared about him, so he's not going to waste his breath. Christian just going real hard in this promo. Says Wardlow found his father figure in Arn Anderson, who was also looking for a new son. Christian says,
man.
He's like,
Dude,
Arn
he just lost his son. Like, his son died.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Fudge. I can't believe they said that. Or he said that. That's amazing.
I forgot about that. I wasn't even thinking about that because Christian was talking about Arn's other son, Brock, who's under contract to AEW.
Oh, yeah. That's the way he covers it. But if you know,
holy
his son died.
Yes, he had a son that died recently. Fuck, that's right. Ooh. Christian. Going for the jugular. I did not think about that. Wow.
Now you really think about it, huh? Now you're like, wow.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's deep.
Well, I'm sure Arn was okay with it, though. I'm sure Arn.
Hope so.
I'm pretty sure he was. I don't think they would have done that.
Christian said Arn Anderson looking for a new son. I did not think of the one that died. I just thought of the guy who's in AEW, but, not really. Brock Anderson. Christian says Arn abandoned Brock to join Wardlow because he was the TNT champion, so he jumped on the bandwagon. And he says Arn was just the other guy in that tag team with Tully, and he was Ric Flair's lapdog, so he's a supposed legend. but then asks, how many world titles has Arn won? The answer is none. While I, Christian, I'm a multi-time world champion. Christian says, Wardlow, your legend is not as smart as me and never was as good as me. And the crowd is just booing the shit out of Christian. And I'm watching it going, yeah, he's right, though. He's right. Christian is better than Arn Anderson.
Is Edge better than him? Because that's what the crowd was saying.
I would say no.
I agree. But I get why people say it, though, because Edge is perceived as a bigger star.
I think peak Christian is better than peak Edge, although it's damn close because peak Edge was fire.
But in terms of like who is a bigger star in wrestling, Edge will always get that.
Yeah, for sure. And he was like rated R superstar with Lita at the peak was really good. I don't know if Christian ever reached those heights as far as being that compelling of a character, but as far as being pound for pound entertaining, like promos in the ring, best in the business type of thing from like a critical standpoint, I think Christian was overall better and has probably had a better body of work as far as the matches if you really look at them. But
that's
I think
too, though.
I think Edge and Christian are both better than Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Both of them. Edge and Christian better than Arn and Tully in every way. Individually, more important to wrestling, just better.
Like, I'll agree with you, but I could see a lot of people obviously disagree with us because, Arn and Tully wasn't really so much our generation as it was more Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we saw Arn and Tully, but it was more like, looking back. Where Edge and Christian, we lived through Edge and Christian.
Christian was so good, though. TNA World Champion Christian, so good. So good.
I don't disagree with you. Like, for a while, Christian was the best wrestler arguably in the world.
Yeah, he was. He really was.
So
when he was in TNA, he was.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Well, even in WWE, there was a point where it's like he's having the best matches. No one is close to him.
Yeah.
I forget when it was exactly, but he was having the best.
Yeah. But that TNA run was really something. Like, whoa. Well,
it led to him coming back to WWE, right?
Yeah.
So.
In a main event role where he became world champion.
Exactly.
World heavyweight champion, which is back
multiple times.
Yes. Him and Randy. All those matches, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what really sucked? Anna Jay and Julia Hart. Garbage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Backyard wrestling, yeah.
Yeah. Just complete, like, here are two people that aren't really wrestlers. They've been wrestling for a couple years. They've seen a lot of these garbage spots. Let's try and do some. And they failed miserably. Julia went to superplex Anna Jay on a bed of chairs, but completely missed all the chairs in the ring, and then still put her finisher submission on and got the win after that. What a horrible finish. What a horrible match. Weak chair shot after weak chair shot. These women would not break glass in emergency with these chair shots. Tried to come up with a bet. They couldn't crack an egg with these chair shots. It was unbelievable how shitty and weak they were hitting each other. And I was like, please hit each other harder. You may be friends. You may be scared. But you're pro wrestlers in a no-holds-barred match on TV. And we're watching. People are watching. You get this spot. You get this match. You got to do more. And that was an outright failure from Anna Jay and Julia Hart. They are not ready for primetime. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Anna Jay survived in that one match because she had it was a tag team match, with Tay Mello and wasn't it Ruby Soho and somebody else, right?
I think it was Willow. Was it Willow?
Yeah. So that match, Anna Jay didn't have to carry the weight. But this was Anna Jay and Julia Hart, and it was the drizzling shits. Worst thing that I saw all week. Fucking horrible. Like, just play wrestling, exposing the business. Two people cosplaying as wrestlers. It was sad, man. It was sad. Fucking missed the bed of chairs on the superplex. Missed it by a mile, too. Couldn't even appreciate watching Anna Jay. Just disgusted.
You know, I have complaints too about the match. I'm not a big fan of the whole, like, they start on the outside, they go back in the ring, they immediately go back on the outside. I felt like more than half the match was just on the outside. Like, it's just a brawl. It's not really much of anything. Why make it no holds barred? Just say it's a weapons match. Because it didn't really feel like anything violent was going to truly happen. Because it's just kendo shit shots and, like, chair shots. That's it.
Kendo shits.
Nothing. Yeah. Apologies for that. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say the.
I know you
shots.
swore. You never swear. You never swear.
Well, I meant to say I mispronounced a word.
I know.
That's
it wasn't
the difference.
I know you didn't mean to.
Yeah.
You would never say that. I would though. It was a piece of shit match. Fuck that match. Garbage. Hated it.
Well, another thing too, like, why is Julia Hart's like finishing submission like very identical to Britt Baker's finisher? Like, except doesn't do the mandible claw pretty much. But everything else, like, it looks exactly the same.
Because she
like,
sucks.
It just no, but like, come on, like,
I don't know.
It's like if Cody does, the crossroads, but the other guy goes the other way, so it's not the crossroads, but it's practically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, they got to change it up a little bit, especially if one of the top stars has a move almost exactly like yours.
House of Black, Julia's friends, wrestled the Best Friends and Bandito in a trios tag match called the House Rules match. They have stipulations. The lights are different for the gimmick match. The Best Friends the Best Friends and Bandito were interviewed before the match, and they're told that they have to pick the final stipulation for some reason, and even they are unaware. This is how stupid this is, right? We're unaware of the concept, but we're just the viewers, like, whatever. The Best Friends are about to do this match, and they're interviewed backstage, and they're like, you have to pick a stipulation. And they're like, well, no witches at ringside. The witch is banned from ringside. They're talking about Julia Hart, right? So that's all they could come up with. But even they, just before the match, unaware of what the fuck this House Rules match is. And it turned out basically garbage. It was not good. House of Black obviously won in their own gimmick match in the first one that we have ever seen. I hope we never see it again, but we probably will. I hated it.
Well, I didn't think it was all bad. Like, I like the idea that it's got its own kind of atmosphere.
You gotta have their own special match. Bad enough, like, they're the trios champions. This trios belt is nowhere near established. You got to add this weird gimmick to every defense, too. Like, give me a break.
But I'll say this. Like, it makes the championship kind of special because it has its own unique kind of setup. And it makes them special, too, because they have their own unique way of wrestling. Sin Cara had this kind of thing. It was kind of neat for him.
For a while.
Took it away from him. They just took it away and they got rid of it. But I thought it was actually kind of neat. And this is fine. I'm not big on the whole, like, there's DQs, but there's no rope breaks. So that's kind of weird. And when they fight on the outside, you can't really see anything. It's so
what's the point?
Dark. So, yeah.
There's a 20 count. They have way more time to fight on the outside, but because of the lights, you can't see what's going on.
Well, there's no point in fighting on the outside. Like, to me, it's like you shouldn't fight on the outside, but whatever. Like, I think there's a lot they could do with this. And it makes them far more interesting than just them having usual 6-man tag matches.
I guess.
Now it's like, well, it's going to be something different.
It just seems silly and spooky for no reason.
No, that's the House of Black.
Exactly. I think I just don't like their gimmick in general. Chris Jericho will wrestle Roderick Strong in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Roderick Strong defending his friend Adam Cole's honor, who Jericho has had banned from the arenas now from some sort of lawyer that Jericho has enlisted. And Roderick Strong has also enlisted some legal people and has got the JAS banned from the arena next week, as Adam Cole will be banned in this Falls Count Anywhere match, Jericho versus Roderick. Maybe Jericho could lead Roderick out of the arena where the Jericho Association can be waiting. Banned from the arena, but not banned from the parking lot, Falls Count Anywhere.
It's an idea.
He could beat them there.
It's an idea, yeah.
Right? I think that's probably going to happen. The Outcasts, Saraya, Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, will wrestle Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida on Dynamite. That's a big match.
That's good. Interesting.
Yeah. And Ricky Starks will wrestle Jay White, which is pretty good. I wonder where they go there.
So quick.
I think Jay White's got to win, right? Can't have Jay White lose so early in his run. I think that would be a mistake.
I agree.
All right. And that's AEW Dynamite coming up next week.
Plus the huge announcement, right? The Collision announcement, more likely.
Huge announcement from Tony Khan, which, I no longer care about because the last huge announcement was like, we're doing a stadium show halfway across the world. You want to go? I'm like, no. It's cool, though. They sold a bunch of tickets, like good for them and all, but I think huge announcements should be good for everybody that watches AEW, not just like some people. But that's just me. Because also, like, what's this huge announcement? Is this a huge announcement for us? Because quite frankly, if they tell me, hey, Saturday Collision is going to be on AEW, is going to be on TNT on Saturday nights, what does that mean for me in Canada? Is it going to be on TV? Is it going to be on that TSN shitty app? Like, how will I watch Collision? And guess what? Tony Khan's not going to tell us. So the huge announcement is there's going to be a TV show on Saturday in the States. Cool. Big deal. What do you have for me? Oh, jack shit again?
Well, let's remember they're coming to Canada for Forbidden Door. So I think they realize they have...
Oh, they're coming to Canada. It's Toronto. It's barely Canada. Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
I think a lot of people would disagree with you,
it's
but
Canada
regardless.
It's Canada that's safe enough for Americans to go to where they still feel like they're in America. Toronto is as America as you get in Canada, I mean, it's in Canada, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's the first place that Americans go to when they think Canada.
Albeit, you might be right.
Of course I'm right.
Still.
I mean, it's not, St. John, Newfoundland or whatever.
But no, I think they can realize they have a huge fan base in Canada. They have more Canadian shows coming up this summer. So,
yeah, not in Montreal.
Not in Montreal. I know you're going to be upset about that.
Oh,
again, they
brother.
should book. They got to get the Mountie on those shows, and I think they'll be okay. But I mean that too. Like, that's what you need. They don't have a top drawing Canadian. Jacques Rougeau would be that.
I don't know if he would be a top draw at this point.
I think so. If you have the Mountie's going to be on Dynamite, I think that would be huge.
Can they call him the Mountie?
I don't know. They call him Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah,
that would work.
You may be overestimating the power of Jacques Rougeau.
I don't think so. I'm not overestimating the power of the Rougeau name in Montreal at the Bell Center.
Still, though,
I think
today.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been a long time since they were in WWF. Man, a lot of these kids have no idea who they are. No idea.
Sure, but the kids are going to come along. But the dads are definitely going to want to come because they remember.
I was talking to a wrestling fan today. Big wrestling fan. Talked to me about wrestling. A guy at the jiu-jitsu today. He was telling me about wrestling. Huh?
Not a new fan.
Well, I mean, it's not his fault. I start talking to him. I'm like, yeah, I was at the screw. He's like, oh, I saw this. I was like, yeah, I was at the screw job. I've been to a lot of things. And then And I'm like, what era? You know, he's like, oh, Ruthless Aggression. I really like. I was like, okay. And I'm like, what? Like, how old? When were you born? And he says 1998. But John, a guy born in 1998, he missed all the good wrestling, but he's 25 years old. Like, he's a man. He's a grown man. He's bigger than I am. You know what I mean? There's a guy at jiu-jitsu. Right. I saw him today at the gym. He's talking to me about wrestling. And, you know, I mean, these kids, they've only seen a certain amount of things. That's why we, as old guys, need to remind them. But, if I told this guy, hey, Jacques Rougeau, you're going to buy a ticket for the Mountie, I don't think he would have any idea who the hell I'm talking about. He didn't see the Quebecers. Right, well, the Quebecers mean nothing for him. To us, the Quebecers are like, yeah, man, they fucking did it for us. Our tag team champions. It was amazing. But for, a 25-year-old kid, they have no idea. And they love wrestling. They're buying tickets. I don't think they're buying tickets to see Jacques. I'm saying we're old. We're old, John. We're old, and the people that remember Jacques are getting real old. And the people that remember Johnny Rougeau are dead. Mostly. Some of them are still alive, but a lot of them are dead. Like, this is what I'm saying, man. We're old. Things are happening. Time is passing.
Right, but, people still know, though. People are still up to date with stuff, regardless, 25 now, because there's so much access. You can be up to date with what happened in wrestling.
Yeah, you can.
And I think, honestly, like, Jacques going to live on forever a lot because, well, not just with Bret Hart, the feud, the Quebecers, but that match with the Big Boss Man. I think a lot of people remember that match. That's a historic match.
SummerSlam 92?
I want to say 92, yeah.
Wow, did I get that? If I got that, I'm going to be really proud of myself.
I'm pretty sure you got it.
Wow. I'm garbage at those usually, right? Like let's see.
Because 91 was Wembley, if I'm not mistaken. Or was 92 Wembley?
92 was Wembley.
Oh, so sorry, yeah, I guess
91 maybe. Maybe it was 91 or 90. It was either 91 or 90. No, it was 91. It was 91. Yeah.
91, yeah.
Well, see, I didn't get it.
1 year off.
I was close.
You're 1 year off.
Yeah, Big Boss Man and the Mountie in the jailhouse match. Look at the card of SummerSlam 91. Tremendous.
Was that was Bret and Perfect, right? 91?
Ricky Steamboat, Bulldog, and Kerry Von Erich beat the Warlord, Paul Roma, and Hercules, Power and Glory. Bret Hart beat Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental title. Incredible match. Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon beat the Bushwhackers. I mean, come on. Virgil beat Ted DiBiase for the $1 million title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Boss Man beat the Mountie in the jailhouse match, which was classic. Legion of Doom beat the Nasty Boys to win the WWF tag titles. IRS beat Greg Valentine. And in the main event, Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior defeated Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, and Colonel Mustafa.
A.K.A. the Iron Sheik, yeah.
Tremendous. SummerSlam 91. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Sid was
the referee. Yeah, he was. Yeah. And I believe this is where Warrior held up Vince. Because Warrior showed up at the end, right?
No, that's WrestleMania, I think you're thinking, aren't you?
Okay.
WrestleMania 8?
I don't know.
Or was it SummerSlam? Maybe.
I think
maybe
it was SummerSlam.
Well, that's a Bruce Pritchard story, if I'm not mistaken. So
no, I'm pretty sure that was SummerSlam 91, where Warrior. Yeah. Warrior did something in the post-match and then had to leave afterwards. Vince paid him money to do the angle and then fired him afterwards. SummerSlam 91. Classic times in professional wrestling, John. I was talking about wrestling today. I was like, I don't know if I like wrestling anymore. The more I watch it, the more I think, this isn't what I remembered wrestling to be. And I realized that I think I liked wrestling from about 1989 till about 2004, 2005. And then, things kind of dipped after that. But I would say that was the good golden era. 15, 16 years of tremendous wrestling. And then, WWF turned to WWE and a lot of things soured. Hasn't been nearly as good as it was back then. What are you going to do?
It's changed.
No Brett.
In good way.
Wrestling sucks without Brett, pretty much, right? The era I'm describing is basically the whole Bret Hart career. So, without that guy.
A little bit, like he wasn't there for the tail end of that, what you're talking about. But...
No. But, the tail end still had some good stuff. But yeah, those were, I think, the best times in professional wrestling. And we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Johnny.
It's a different game now.
Yeah,
totally
it's a completely different game. It's not what it was. It's a lot softer, Wrestling has to be for everyone now. Wrestling is for everybody, and you got to do one match for this person, and one match for this group, and one match for these fans, and one match for the... And it's like, well, whatever happened to me? What about me? What are they catering to me? Like they're trying to give wrestling for everybody and all this shit. Well, it's like, well, where's the wrestling match for me? Because they're few and far between. You know what it was tonight? Tonight they did a wrestling match for me. A wrestling match for the old guys. It was Edge, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles. The youngest guy in that match is 45 years old. That was a match for the old guys. That was a match for us, John, and we ate it up with a spoon. Yum, 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 yum. Delicious. I loved it. I did the math, and the combined age of that match is 142 for a triple threat.
Just imagine the wrestling experience in that match.
Unbelievable. And it showed because the match was fantastic. Doesn't matter. You could be nearly 50. I think is Rey older than Edge? No, I think Edge is 49, Rey's 48, and AJ's 45. But, hey, they did it. There was the match for me tonight, John. That was catered to us. The old guy match. Thank you, WWE. And that's it. When's your next match? When can people see you?
Well, we started the show. I guess we'll end the show like this. I'm wrestling Sunday in Laval. And, it's against Savage Paulson. Torch Chamber Showcase Sunday 23. Goes down in Laval. 1000... What is that road again? It's called again. D'Avenir. Yeah, that's it. 1000 Boulevard D'Avenir in Laval. Very close to the Metro Montmorency. It's actually like probably 10-minute walk, maybe even less. Right there, right next door.
There you go. So go see Johnny. Go see Johnny in action this Sunday if you're in the Laval area. For more, follow him on Twitter at North Genesis. For more information on that, go to ringsidereport.net, our official website. And a shout-out to Jason Pete, member of the team. He agrees with me on some pulp. Thank you, Jason. Jason is not a big Rey Fenix fan, and he's a Lucha Libre fan. So there you go. Jason Pete, a member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. Be cool like Jason. Go to join.ringsidereport.net. Support the Ringside Report Network over at join.ringsidereport.net. Also give a shout-out to Louis Nerestant, who became a member.
Oh, congrats.
Do you know him?
No, I don't.
Okay. I don't know. I thought you recognize the name.
Maybe I do, and I don't really recognize it because maybe it's a real name, and I don't know the worker name, possibly.
Maybe. Well, shout out to Louis Nerestant. Thank you for joining the team and supporting the Ringside Report Network. We appreciate all the members that support over at donate.ringsidereport.net. or join.ringsidereport.net. You can also support us on Rumble. So go ahead. Go ahead and do that on Rumble, on Twitch, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. And that's it. I'll be back here Thursday night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA with Freddie and AJ. Hopefully my parlay comes through tomorrow and we win some money and we do well. And we keep it going. Team Dave, right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.